The Senate Judiciary Committee is hearing all of the answers that Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch has in regard to their questions. And of course, this is the confirmation hearing, and it's important that he convince Democrats to vote for him because we need at least 8 Democrats to vote in his favor in order for him to get confirmed. But of course, Democrats are holding out because they're still pretty upset about what happened with Merrick Garland, who was President Obama's nominee to replace Antonin Scalia. Now, Mitch McConnell is probably the best part about all of this because he doesn't understand that, hey, if you act like a dick, then maybe people are gonna act like a dick in response to you being a dick, right? So let's take a look at what he had to say about Democrats holding out on Neil Gorsuch.
Yet I haven't seen a single Democrat, unless they're one you've observed, indicate they were prepared to either vote for cloture or to vote for him, leading you to ask the following question. If Judge Gorsuch can't achieve 60 votes in the Senate, could any judge appointed by a Republican president be approved with 60 or more votes in the Senate? If they don't find Gorsuch acceptable, are they taking the position that the vacancy should never be filled at all? Last year they were complaining about there being a vacancy for roughly a year.
Yeah, they were complaining that there was a vacancy for roughly a year because you guys refused to even hear Merrick Garland out, have a hearing for him, right? You guys didn't want to play ball. What makes you think the Democrats are going to turn around and just play ball?
Is there no one to ask the question of, have you no shame? Like, you're the guy who said that you would block any justice under Obama indefinitely. Now you're turning around pretending to be outraged that the Democrats are not blocking it. They're just not voting in favor of him. They have no obligation to vote in favor of him or to vote in favor of cloture. And he's like, how dare they even delay this for 1 minute when you delayed it for a year?
Not only did they delay it for a year, remember, during the election, no one, including Republicans, expected Donald Trump to win. And so they assumed that Hillary Clinton was gonna win and become the next president and that she would be able to nominate a judge. And guess what Republicans said about a potential Hillary nominee? Take a look.
I promise you that we will be united against any Supreme Court nominee that Hillary Clinton, if she were president, would put up. And I promise you.
Senator Cruz, he did talk about this last week in Colorado, and he said there's long precedent for there being less than the 9 justices we've become accustomed to.
If Hillary Clinton becomes president, I'm going to do everything I can do to make sure that 4 years from now, we've still got an opening on the Supreme Court. Good.
So when Republicans do it, they're strong, right? But when Democrats refuse to vote for a nominee that they might not even agree with, what's wrong with them? What's wrong with them? If they can't vote for him, they're not gonna vote for anyone.
So I'm not surprised that the Republicans are breaking records on hypocrisy and they don't care. They lie through their teeth. They do it all the time. They're doing it brazenly in this context. What annoys me is the press. So it is not objective to say Republicans say this and the Democrats say that. It is objective to point out that the Republicans are giant hypocrites on this. On different issues, you could have different opinions. On this, you just saw it for yourself. They said that they would not, they threatened to never allow a Hillary Clinton nominee. You just heard it with your own ears. So now for McConnell to say that he's outraged that the Democrats won't vote in favor of a nominee that they completely disagree with, and for the press to treat that even, like, oh, I can't tell who's right, who's wrong. No, your headline should say Republicans are hypocritical on this issue. I know for the press, they're like, heart attack, oh my God, that would be factual, I can't do that. It would seem biased to point out that they are wrong. It's not biased, it's factual. It's factual. Do your goddamn job. Can the Democrats actually do anything about Gorsuch? Well, yeah, they could actually filibuster him, and very likely they will. Schumer says all you need is 1 Democratic senator to call for it, and then you're gonna need 60 votes. That's technically a filibuster. My guess is that Bernie Sanders can probably raise his hand, among others, okay? And since this is an easy political issue for the Democrats, probably all the guys who are angling for the presidency will raise their hands even before Bernie Sanders. So it's a layup in this case. So now McConnell says, no, I would like to keep the filibuster, but he will be confirmed by April 8th, period. Meaning, if they filibuster, I'm just gonna get rid of the filibuster.
Right.
Now, all those years the Democrats were in power. Oh my God, the filibuster, is so important. We gotta let the Republicans block everything we do. The minute the Republicans are in power, April 8th, that's like a couple of weeks from now. They're like, oh, there's a guy up, and if you guys don't do exactly what we tell you to do, within 2 weeks we'll kill this filibuster that you protected for decades and decades and decades, and we pretended was really important, and that we thought was an important part of Senate tradition, history, yada yada. We were lying. We're Republicans. We don't care. We will immediately shred all the rules, do whatever the hell we want. And the Democrats, you will bow your goddamn heads.
And they will. That's the problem. They will bow their goddamn heads, right? And it's the case with pretty much everything. You see the hypocrisy with everything. The second Republicans are in power, the second Donald Trump gets elected, what does he do? One executive order after another, one executive action after another, which is what Obama was criticized for like crazy. But the criticism is all BS, right? It's the same thing that they want to do, except they want to do it 10 times more. And so that's what's happening with these Senate hearings. And look, Republicans are incredibly strong compared to Democrats. And unfortunately, there's strength in a moral way and strength in an immoral way. They're strong in an immoral way. They don't care about hypocrisy. They don't care about the fact that they're lying because they know the media isn't going to cover them in a negative fashion. They know that they're going to, get the media neutrality that you can enjoy on networks like CNN, and they get away with it, right? And so Democrats don't fight back hard enough.
Are you sick of the mainstream media? Then I got good news for you. We're going to hire some investigative reporters, and we're going to go house. We're actually going to investigate what's happening in this country and stand up for you guys. Help us do it. Go to tytnetwork.com/go. If everybody watching this video just gives a little bit of money, we'd have plenty to hire those investigative teams and unleash them on the country.